A deadly fire in Hunts Point kills a teenager.
Plus, the search continues for the suspects accused of a double shooting in an upscale Westchester village. Janine?
And we managed to have a beautiful Saturday at the beach. The forecast is looking pretty good for the next couple of days. I will be back with your full forecast coming up.
This is CBS 2 News Sunday morning.
And good morning. It is a beautiful Sunday morning on this 13th day of July. Thanks for being here. I'm Mario Bosquez.
And I'm Lisa Daniels. Coming up today on CBS 2 News Sunday morning, the sounds of Star Search winner Vicky Natali, a live performance you don't want to miss.
It's going to fill your home with beautiful music today. Plus, find out about all the hot spots around Manhattan that you'll really want to be hitting this summertime. But before we do that, let's get your Sunday forecast with meteorologist Janine D'Adamo. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning to both of you. All I can say is if you liked yesterday's weather, you're going to like today. It's starting out exactly the same, with almost exactly the same temperatures across the board. Cooler to the north, Cold Spring 58, Hamburg 59 degrees. City temperatures, though, a mild 70. But here's the deal. You know, I can tolerate 70s when the humidity is low early in the morning, and the humidity is low. It's going to stay low through the day today. Last night we had a few rumbles of thunder down to the south along the Jersey Shore around Atlantic City and then over towards Dover, Delaware, as a little weak trough moved through. And even right now there are a few clouds, mostly high clouds, left over from that system. But later today we'll see another push of drier air, which means low humidity, mild temperatures, and another sunny day. So starting out with some early morning high cloudiness. And then by the afternoon, it's mostly sunny with just a few high, thin cirrus clouds, and temperatures will stay in the 80s. Overall, a fabulous Sunday. I don't have a lot to say about the Sunday forecast. I'm going to have to pick a few other cities and talk about their weather because ours is just going to be nice today.
And we are not complaining about that at all. Janine,
right.
Thank you very much. Let's look at our top stories this morning. An early morning fire in the Bronx claims the life of a teenage boy, but a quick-thinking neighbor saved others. McGee Hickey is live at the scene in Hunts Point with that story. Good morning, McGee.
Good morning, Mario. It was a very fast-moving fire here on Oneida Avenue in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. An 18-year-old boy is dead. Neighbors around here just feel awful about what happened, and one neighbor is being called a hero for rescuing two others. The fire broke out at about 3:17 this morning in the stairwell of 846 Oneida Avenue. Inside the second-floor apartment, a mother and her 18-year-old son were screaming to get out. By the time firefighters were able to get to them, the 18-year-old had died. His mother is now inside a neighbor's house being comforted by them. A neighbor, Wilfred Rivera, knocked on the door of the downstairs neighbor and got them out. He's with us now to talk about it. Now, I must say you're a very reluctant hero. You just feel very bad about what happened. But I want you to tell us what you saw and heard.
Well, like I said, like around 3:30, 4 o'clock, I heard a pop, went back to sleep, and then I smelled a lot of smoke. And I came running out. I told my wife to call 911. And when I was out here, I was met by another neighbor across the street, and we started banging on the doors, trying to find ways to get in. And we just continued banging until we woke up the neighbors to get them out. We rushed in the house. We got the people out, and we were trying to see if we could get to the back to help the people that were in the back. But we had to get out because the heat was so bad.
Well, the downstairs neighbors are very grateful to you. They're alive this morning because you were knocking on their door. And I know when the body of the son was brought out, everyone in this neighborhood was very distraught.
Yeah,
how is the mother taking it?
I mean, she was real bad, real bad. I mean, it's sad that unfortunately, somebody had to die. You know, sad.
All right, thank you very much, Wilfredo Rivera, for talking to us about this very sad morning here on Oneida Avenue. The Red Cross is on the scene to provide temporary shelter for the two families that lost their apartments here. And the fire marshals are also here investigating. At this point, they don't know what caused the fire, but with any fatal fire, the fire marshals are called in to investigate. We're live in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. McGee Hickey, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Mario and Lisa.
McGee, thank you. Frightening moments for a woman on the east side who police say was the victim of an attempted rape last night. Police say the suspect pushed his way in behind the woman as she was opening her front door on East 30th Street. The woman called out for help and the suspect fled. Police say the woman refused medical attention. Police in Rybrook continue their search for the suspects in that town's first murder in 15 years. Police say Richard and Danielle Graciano were shot in their home on Friday. Danielle later died, and her husband is in critical but stable condition. Police say two suspects are involved, and robbery may be the motive. They They've released this sketch of one of the suspects seen speeding from the scene in a green Subaru with Quebec license plates. If you have any information, please call the Rybrook Police at 914-937-0090.
Well, we have an update this morning on a story involving one of our own employees. Prosecutors in Cleveland say CBS 2 meteorologist David Rogers pleaded not guilty at his arraignment on Saturday. Rogers was charged with 2 counts of aggravated vehicular assault and 1 charge of leaving the scene of an accident. Police say Rogers drove his SUV into a group of workers at a construction site on an Ohio freeway. It happened early Thursday morning. 2 workers were injured. One of them is still hospitalized in serious but stable condition. Police said Rogers smelled of alcohol but refused a breathalyzer test. He was on vacation in Cleveland at the time. Rogers is free after posting $50,000 bail. CBS 2 station management has had no comment on the incident. Rogers remains off the air while the investigation is ongoing. His attorney said that Rogers is happy to be home now with his wife and his 2 children.
Democrats continue to turn up the heat on President Bush for an erroneous claim he made about Iraq in his State of the Union speech. They say President Bush must take responsibility for claiming Saddam Hussein tried to buy uranium from Africa. It turned out to be faulty intelligence, and CIA Director George Tenet has taken the blame. President Bush says he supports Tenet and considers the matter closed. But former White House aide David Gergen says that is not enough.
Somebody in the administration, not in the agency, not at the CIA, wanted to put this in the speech and got the CIA to sign off on it, even though everybody knew that within the U.S. government there were real doubts about the validity of the report. And that's what constitutes the misleading quality of it.
British intelligence officials, the source of the Bush administration claims, still maintain that Iraq was trying to buy uranium from the African nation of Niger. Meantime, Iraqis are taking a big step towards self-rule today. The Governing Council of Iraq is holding its first meeting. The council will appoint interim ministers and work with U.S. occupation officials on policy and also budgets. Iraqi political leaders and the U.S.-led provisional government are in the final stages of setting up the council.
The U.S. Navy has made history commissioning its first aircraft carrier named for a living president.
Man the ship and bring her alive.
With that simple command yesterday, former First Lady Nancy Reagan sent off thousands of sailors aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. The Navy's newest carrier is almost 1,100 feet long, stands 20 stories above the waterline, and it can carry more than 80 aircraft. Former President Reagan did not attend the ceremony at Norfolk Naval Station in Virginia. At 92, he suffers from Alzheimer's disease and rarely travels. The Reagan is expected to serve the Navy for more than 50 years. And get this, with 2 nuclear reactors, the carrier can operate for 20 years without refueling.
The Yanks fall short against the Blue Jays.
And find out why you won't be swimming at One Westchester Beach. Good morning, Janine.
Oh, but a lot of other beaches are open for business, that's for sure. We've got rain down to the south and a little trough moving through the area. I will let you know how that will affect our weather and also a look at the week ahead. That's coming up, so join us.
A revolutionary new treatment for neck pain? Monday at 11, a tiny device that holds a big promise to possibly end your suffering for good. How does it work, and could it help you get back into the swing? Overpowering pain. Monday on CBS 2 News at 11.
The Lexus LS, for the 7th year in a row, ranked the highest premium luxury sedan in initial quality by J.D. Power & Associates. No other sedan has ever been so honored, which might help explain why its owners consider it simply the best luxury sedan in the world. The Lexus LS, at your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer.
What do you call a room filled with energy, passion, and a ton of kid stuff? Benjamin Moore calls it Meadowview. I call it a dream come true. To make it a reality, I went to my Benjamin Moore retailer. After hearing my ideas, he gave me some great tips, and I pulled the whole room together. Benjamin Moore paint is the best. It helped me create a home that expresses the real me. What do you call that? I call it confidence.
Benjamin Moore. We make it simple. You make it beautiful. Mr. Goodwrench, who is this one and only GM expert? I gotta find this guy. You're Mr. Goodwrench?
Yep.
Which means you use genuine GM parts.
Well, actually, we all do.
Now you're just trying to throw me. Mr. Goodwrench had over 1 million hours of GM training last year?
That's right.
Doesn't leave much time for Mrs. Goodwrench now, does it?
Find Mr. Goodwrench at over 7,000 GM dealerships nationwide.
If Mr. Goodwrench were a tool, what kind of tool would he be?
A wrench?
Oh, sorry. Miter saw is what we were looking for. Miter saw.
Yankees versus Cleveland, the rematch in the Bronx. See who gets shut out this time. Friday at 7 here on CBS-2. CBS-2, broadcast home of the Yankees.
A live view of our area this morning, 70 degrees right now. Janine D'Adamo will have your forecast in just a moment. Welcome back. Westchester beachgoers are being left high and dry. Several Long Island Sound beaches in the village of Mamaroneck look like this. They're closed this weekend because of sewage contamination. The county health department says it comes from a leak under Route 1. Now, until this problem is fixed, beaches from Shore Acres to Orient's Point will remain closed.
But it does look like a great day to head to the beach today.
It does. The golf course, the tennis courts, the beach, the park.
Anywhere outside your front door.
Yeah, you know, I was
later
in
today.
Prospect Park yesterday, and everybody was grilling outside. It's such an unfamiliar scene to me because in Central Park we're not allowed to grill.
Not allowed to do that.
But so head to a park where you could do a little bit of grilling and bring the hot dogs and hamburgers. Today is going to be another great outdoors day. And actually, there's some pretty good days in the 5-day forecast too. So I wouldn't say do it now, otherwise, you know, it's going to rain the rest of the week. It's going to be a pretty good week with a few exceptions. So looking at live pictures right now, it's not a bad morning at all. A few high clouds out there, and temperatures are around the 70-degree mark in the 5 boroughs, from Freshkill to New York City's Central Park, over towards Flatbush and Brooklyn, too. Temperature about 70 degrees. Variable wind and a rising barometer. Actually, high pressure is going to be developing through the day today, and that promises another really good one. Temperatures a little bit cool to the north and west, though. In Cold Spring, you have some clouds and 58 degrees. It's clearing out in Hamburg, and your temperature just under 60. Mild on the island from Shirley to Merrick, and also in Fairfield, Connecticut, your temperature 66 with some of those high clouds. The high clouds are coming in as a result of this little weather system. I can't even call it a cold front because there's not really cold air, warm air differentiation here. It's basically a trough, which means it's a disturbance that'll touch off maybe a few showers, but mostly just some clouds. You can see that stripe of clouds going all the way from the Green Mountains up in northern New England all the way back into the Virginias. So we'll be keeping an eye on that through the morning hours, but this afternoon it'll be out of the way, which means if you want to enjoy the Jersey Shore, you should do it. Seabright, 79 degrees today. Sandy Hook, I think about 80. Now the waves are up to 5 feet. And some of the offshore buoys are reporting 5 to 6 foot waves. That's why a small craft advisory is still in effect in the ocean waters. Of course, the sound waters will be a little bit more quiet today. And Port Jeff, about a temperature of 76 degrees. Inland temperatures will be in the 80s, but along the shore with the breeze, a sea breeze, you'll get a little bit of a break in the temperature. So that's a good place to be today. Today, a fantastic weather day. High pressure and sunshine. The storms stay down to the south. Tomorrow, I think, is another pleasant day with afternoon clouds developing, but the rain holding off until Tuesday. Temperatures today in the 80s almost everywhere. Stanford, you might be a little bit below 80 at 79. And then there's your dry forecast today, tomorrow. Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll have a chance of rain and thunderstorms. But, you know, overall, the systems look fairly weak, except for Tuesday, where I think we could get a little bit more rain, as one of the models indicates. Basically, every other day, chance of rain, not a big deal. And I looked at the next 7 days in some of the models that go out that far, and there is not a 90-degree day in sight.
Wow, that's wonderful.
You should just take today and bottle it, because it'll be a nice one. Janine, thank you very much for that. All right, a shot of sports right now.
Yeah.
Yankees and Mets fans, well, they didn't have much to cheer about yesterday.
They had nothing to cheer about. Gary Apple has your wake-up sports.
Good morning, everybody. And disaster for the Yankees in Toronto. The bullpen was brutal. The Jays over the Yankees 10-3. Hammond and Osuna combined just a third of an inning. They gave up 5 hits and 6 runs. 2-0 Jays, 6th inning. Jason Giambi, and that's gone. His 25th home run. He ties the game, a 2-run shot. It was 2-2, but bottom 7, bases jammed. 2 outs. Frank Catalinato, local guy, went to CW Post. Singles off Musina. He knocks in 2, and the Jays had a 4-2 lead. Then 8th inning, the floodgates opened. Eric Hinsky sends one to right. Kareem Garcia has it, doesn't have it. Drops the baseball. Everybody was safe, and then Osuna got lit up. Reed Johnson Doubles past third, down into left field. Delgado and Myers would both come in. The Jays had a commanding 6-2 lead, and then Howie Clark would single in Hinsky and Johnson as he bangs one to center, and that was it. The Yankees get blown out. Roy Halladay becoming the Major League's first 13-game winner. The Red Sox won. The Yankees' lead is down to 1. And by the way, Jason Giambi says he is going to compete in the home run derby at the All-Star game. Barry Bonds says he will not. And make it 6 consecutive defeats for the Mets. Philly beat the Mets 4-2 in 11 at Shea. 2-1 Philly, 6th inning. Todd Pratty's a former Met. Bangs one down into left. Jimmy Rollins trying to race in, but here's a good moment for the Mets. Great relay. Timo to Reyes to Phillips. And Rollins doesn't have a chance. He is gone at home. The Mets would tie it in the 8th inning. Gonzalez flies to center. Rollins goes out. For a moment he has it, but not long enough. Drops the baseball. Reyes scores. Burnett's trying to score to give the Mets the lead, but he is gone. Game tied 2-2. Stayed that way until the 11th when Philly got 2. Reyes, that's not good. Bobby Abreu's grounder right between his legs. Bird scores to make it 4-2, and that was the final. Franco and the rest of the Mets continue to melt down. Nets coach Byron Scott says he wants to talk to Jason Kidd as soon as possible to try and clear the air. Scott said he was shocked when he first heard the news that Kidd wanted to have him fired if he was going to re-sign. Scott says that unless he hears it directly from Jason, he is putting no stock in the story. WNBA All-Star game at the Garden. The West beat the East 84-75. The East has never beaten the West in the All-Star game. That's 5 straight. This most definitely not what you want to see in an All-Star game. Lisa Leslie injured her knee when Terry Phillips fell on her. She was taken to the hospital, but x-rays revealed only a bad bruise. What a play here. Nikki Teasley to Yolanda Griffin for the bucket, and then Sue Bird, the former UConn star, on the break, getting the bucket and the foul. The West wins it by 9. That is how the West was won. And finally, they're starting to gear up for the Baseball All-Star game. It takes place Tuesday in Chicago. The players won't begin showing up until later tonight, but the mascots began arriving yesterday. They were there to compete in the annual Mascots Home Run Hitting Contest, and for the 2nd straight year, Junction Jack, the mascot of the Houston Astros, has won the event. Didn't make the rest of the mascots very happy, but Gaffer, the Cincinnati Reds mascot, showing the love to Junction Jack, the power hitter of all mascots. I'm Gary Apple. That's Big Apple Sports for this Sunday morning.
Gary, thank you. Someone should sign up, Junction Jack.
I know, it's true. You do well. A landmark church in Harlem may be closing its doors, but parishioners say they will fight to the end. That story next.
Some summertime help for your kids. How this new book can help your kids if they're struggling with their homework. This is CBS 2 News Sunday morning. I enjoyed it, too.
So I go into this Toyota store, and I ask the salesman, why is this Camry the #1 selling car so often? He doesn't bat an eye. Says it's on the Consumer Digest Best Buy list more times than any other car. Cost under $3 a day to keep it going. Then he says to me, now, I got a question for you. I go, yeah? He goes, how can I make it work for you?
Here's big news. 0% APR, $1,000 cash back, or a $209 a month lease on Camry. 3 great ways to save.
Wash it, gas it, give me the keys. I'm glad I asked.
I want to shout it from the rooftops. I have lost over 50 pounds on the Slim Fast plan.
Slim Fast. One success story.
I feel like a kid again.
After another.
I lost 33 pounds on the Slim Fast plan.
I wasted way too much time being fat. Look at me. It's about feeling good and having energy.
Anybody who's got a taste bud will find something they like.
I lost over 50 pounds on the Slim Fast plan. Don't wait another day. Do it now. Slim Fast. Success after success after success after...
Is it the mighty Colorado? Or the Norwegian fjords? Is it the English countryside? Maybe it's Big Sky Country. Guess again. It must be Maine. For your free vacation guide, call or go to visitmaine.com.
Hi, I'm Bob, and this is Alice.
We're the Columbosians who invented Columbo yogurt.
We just saw Dannon's new containers. They're a whole lot smaller. What if everything got a whole lot smaller? We're keeping Columbo big, so you get at least 4 more spoonfuls than Dannon. We may be a small brand, but we think big. Columbo, 8 ounces since 1929.
Send in your Columbo lid now, and we'll donate 20 cents to the Adams National Historical Park.
Welcome back. Every Sunday, thousands of people in the tri-state area attend places of worship to pray and also to reflect. But parishioners at St. Thomas the Apostle in Harlem may have to find a new place. They've been told their church may close. Here's their story. Walk around this church and you will feel the sadness trapped within its doors. Parishioners at St. Thomas the Apostle Roman Catholic Church in Harlem fear the end is near, both for their church and for their community. For Evelyn Horsfield, that means saying goodbye to a piece of her family history.
I was married here, I was baptized here, and all my children was raised into this church.
Earlier this month, parishioners said goodbye to their longtime priest, Reverend Paul Growls. But that emptiness has been replaced by anger now that there are rumors their church may be going next.
Why is the Archdiocese leaving Harlem? They are actually running from Harlem.
Right.
Why?
According to the Archdiocese of New York, there are many reasons. Low attendance, money issues, and repairs top the list.
It is a church which is about 100 years old, which is badly in need of some extensive physical repairs. The cost estimate for those repairs are around $5 million.
But he is quick to point out no final decision has been made. But those reasons don't mean much to this longtime parishioner. Robin Williams says she's lived long enough to know the real reason.
I think it's because of our color. That's what I think.
And so a generation struggles to prepare itself to say goodbye to these windows, the intricate ceiling, and the magnificent altar, all symbols of what has become their home.
My parents was buried from this church. I had my parents' funerals in this church. My kids came to this church, and I've been coming to this church since.
Break our hearts, the whole community. This church belongs to our neighborhood, and we want our church to stay here. I can't.
And as we said, the Archdeacon is still making a decision, but parishioners are obviously very upset.
I'm sure you'll keep us posted on that, Lisa. Thank you. All right, coming up, how about education with a twist? When we come back, we'll take a look at this book, how this book could help your child rise to the top of the class.
Sounds good. And a fast food stop leads to a fight after a man finds a mouse in his lunch. The story a little bit later on CBS 2 News Sunday Morning.
So, what can we do to conserve electricity? Yeah.
Turn off the lights when I leave a room.
Okay.
Turn off the air conditioner before we leave the house, right?
Right. And set the thermostat to 78 degrees. Use timers and clean the air filters.
What about those funny-looking light bulbs?
You mean energy-efficient light bulbs? Great idea. And tell your parents buy products with the Energy Star label and save even more money on their electric bills.
LIPA, the power of change.
Bob, this is an unbelievable display you have here.
I went out and bought the very best Sealy Posturepedic, in my very best, and opened them up for all to see.
Well, you did a great job, but do you know that you can come in and check these out for yourselves in the store?
I want an educated consumer because the smarter you are, the better shopper you are, and I want you to see the value I give.
You know, we could go on and on and on, but there's nothing like seeing something with your own two eyes, because seeing is believing.
It's all about value, selection, and money. With low payments and right now, 0 down payment. Now get a 2003 Chevy Impala sedan with Smart Buy financing for around $231 a month and 0 down. Call for residency and other restrictions. Chevy Impala sedan with a V6 and best-in-class highway fuel economy. Cause money's what it's all about. Chevy Impala for $231 a month. See your local Chevy dealer.
When people find out Breakstone's Cottage Doubles has half the sugar of yogurt, it leaves them in a dilemma. What to do with their yogurt? Breakstone's Cottage Doubles.
Scrumptious strawberry shortcake. Now in a Newton. New strawberry shortcake Newtons. So indulgent, it's everything you could ever want in a dessert. In a Newton. New strawberry shortcake Newtons. Looks like a Newton. Tastes like dessert.
70 degrees. You can't complain. Look at this beautiful live view. Janine D'Adamo with your forecast in a moment. Welcome back to CBS 2 News Sunday morning. It may be summertime, but it's always a good time to think of your kids' education. And if you are a parent in search of educational tools, then how about heading to the bookstore? That's because everything your kid needs to know, from nations to states and science and space, condensed into a great almanac of information. It's called the World Almanac for Kids 2004. Joining us now to talk about it is editor and chief of the book, Kevin Seabrook. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, fine. Thank you very much. I was scanning the book, and lots of interesting gee whiz, I didn't know kind of facts were in there. And it's really chock full of information for kids that they can even absorb in the summertime, right?
Well, it is a lot of fun, like you said. I mean, they can use it for homework, but that's what's great about it, is over the summer they can read it and find lots of things, and you'll find that if you're a parent, they're going to be quizzing you and asking you, hey, did you know this, or did you know this about these things? And a lot of things you might have learned in elementary school or junior high, but you've forgotten. You'll really be surprised.
And also things you did know, like I'm flipping through the book right now. For example, here and there it talks about even games that we play, like, for example, that hopscotch starting during the Roman times. And I didn't know that, that was the case. Right. What other kind of gee whiz things did you find out?
Well, right in the same section, that scotch comes from Middle English scotch, and it means to scratch in the dirt, and it refers to the little diagram that you draw. It has nothing to do with Scotland.
See, I learned something already. Everybody at home did as well. How do you get all these cool topics that you talk about?
Well, we really are working on this all year round, collecting facts. We get a lot of suggestions from kids. We have a website, worldalmanacforkids.com, and thousands of questions we get from kids. Do ants sleep is one of my favorites.
Do they?
We don't know exactly. They do have a rest period. Scientists know that there is a time when they rest, but they don't know that they can actually classify it as sleep.
Now, we're talking about ants, the insect, not ants, the relatives. We know they sleep.
That's right.
Okay, see, I'm glad I clarified something there.
Do you know what scientists who study ants are called?
No. Entomologists?
Myrmecologists.
I was close, but
Myrmecologists.
I did not know that.
There are about 9,500 known species of ant, and they figured that there are probably twice that many out there in the wild.
Unbelievable. I still think my answer, entomologist, is a good stab at it anyway. A lot of kids dread doing homework, and I know that's the case for many children. Almanac appears to be a fun way to navigate the information.
Right. It gets them going. Once you get a kid interested in a topic, that's really the key. If you can find what they're interested in, and they can learn that, then you can see that they can learn other things. Like if they know all the baseball statistics, then that's a body of information that they've learned, and they can really apply that in their schoolwork, too.
Why is summertime a good time to get a head start on all of this?
Well, because you can learn things on your own. You have a little more free time. You can go to the library. That's a wonderful place to go. Or you can go to a book like this and read about different things, and you find topics that you're interested in and learn more about them.
It seems to be popular. It's in the 9th publication already. How's it going? What kind of reaction do you get?
Well, we went to all color in 2000. 336 pages. We got all these pictures.
You can say that again.
I know,
it's
I'm holding
brilliant.
it up. It's
Lots
really
of
a lot
color.
of fun. It's engaging.
I didn't know that Mandarin, for example, in your book says is China's main language, and it's the most spoken language in the world.
That's correct.
I thought it was English.
You would think so, but there's a lot of people in China.
There's a lot of people in China. You're right. There's a lot of information in the book. You also have a contest that children can participate in.
That's right. That's the Kids Speak Out contest. And the question is, who are the 3 most important people in the world and why? And you just send us, you can email it to us, you can mail us a letter. You can go to the website, like I said, worldalmanacforkids.com, and find the address there. And what you can win is an all-expenses-paid trip for 4 to Washington, D.C.
There you go. And, of course, Kevin Seabrook, editor-in-chief, the World Almanac for Kids 2004. Thanks very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
And, folks, there'll be a pop quiz after the show, you and Lisa, okay? Thank you again for joining us. You get a copy of the World Almanac for Kids at your local bookstore. Lisa, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Mario. Not a good beach day at one Westchester hotspot. Find out where the beach is closed next. And take a look at this fuel truck explosion causing a frightening scene on a major interstate. The story when CBS 2 News Sunday morning returns.
WCBS 880 on your AM dial. The only all-news station on your radio with CBS News at the top of every hour, plus traffic and weather together on the 8s. Be the first to know. WCBS 880.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go.
Pain is such a pain when you're a mother, because there's no one to take care of you. Except Mom's Motrin. Motrin IB. It's got the speed and strength you need to help you feel like yourself again. Overworked and underappreciated. Mom's Motrin. Motrin IB. For moms who don't fool around with pain.
Life is calling, let's start living it. Take tonight by the reins and harness it out to the meadowland. Come on, let's and adrenaline flows. It's all about being here. It's what your soul understands. It's all about being here, the Meadowlands.
Get that fine dining, no whining, first across the finish line buzz. Only at the Meadowlands Racetrack. It's all about being here.
More people attend horse racing than football, basketball, or hockey. Last year alone, more than 50 million spectators went to America's racetracks. This racing fact is brought to you by Meadowlands Racetrack, home of the world's greatest harness racing. It's all about being here.
Every morning, millions of us just have coffee because we don't have time for a decent breakfast. Well, now Yoplai's got something new that'll change that. It's called Nourish, a delicious non-fat yogurt smoothie, the only yogurt smoothie with the nourishment of a meal. With Nourish for breakfast, we'll all be off to a good start.
After you.
No time for a meal? Nourish yourself.
A teenager dies in an early morning fire in Hunts Point.
Then why you don't want to head down to One Westchester Beach today. Good morning, Janine.
Hey, good morning. The weather is going to be great for beachgoers and for anybody playing a little tennis or golf outside. Besides a few storms down to our south, a good day shaping up, and I'll be back with your complete forecast coming up.
This is CBS 2 News, Sunday morning.
Good morning, 7:31 on this Sunday morning, the 13th day of July. I'm Lisa Daniels.
And I'm Mario Bosquez. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. The day's top stories are straight ahead for you. But first, a look at your all-important Sunday forecast with Janine D'Adamo. I guess this one will put a smile on everyone's faces.
It better do that, because if you liked yesterday's weather, you're going to love today. And I spent almost all day outside today. Went to Bryant Park and ate outside a little cafe. We just walked around the city and had a really great afternoon. Temperatures were comfortable yesterday at this time, and they are again, especially where you're getting a little break on the air conditioner bills. 58 degrees now in Cold Spring, 59 in Hamburg. You can just open a window and enjoy a little fresh air this morning. 66 and a little milder also in Merrick near 70, and city temperatures in the 5 boroughs are right around 70 this morning. Well, we have a little disturbance moving through. Now, I don't want to freak you out. It's not going to cause any big rains or thunderstorms. But see this line of clouds going through Jersey back down into eastern portions of Virginia? That's a trough of low pressure. It might touch off a shower or two, especially down to the south where there's more moisture available. But for the most part this morning, all it does is bring us some high clouds and a little bit of filtered sun. So the way it looks over the next 12 hours or so, this morning we'll have temperatures around 70 with partly cloudy skies, mostly those high thin clouds still streaming through. By noontime, they're gone, 76. And then this evening, 81 degrees and mostly sunny skies. A really fabulous forecast for today, because one thing you can't see on my graphics, but I'm going to tell you about it and you'll notice it. Low humidity today. Just like yesterday, the air feels dry, and you know what? I straightened my hair this morning, and it's going to stay straight all day today.
Good. That's good news for all of us.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Janine. We'll see you later in the morning, of course.
Topping the news today, a fire in the Bronx has claimed the life of a teenage boy, but thanks to a quick-thinking neighbor, other lives were saved. McGee Hickey is live at the scene in Hunts Point with details. McGee, good morning.
Good morning, Lisa. The fire was put out in less than an hour by 60 firefighters, all called here to fight the one-alarm blaze. But as you say, by the time it was over, an 18-year-old boy had died, and one neighbor is being called a hero here. The fire broke out at 3:17 this morning in the stairwell of 846 Monida Avenue. Inside the second-floor apartment, a mother and her 18-year-old son were screaming to get out. By the time firefighters were able to get to them, the 18-year-old had died. The mother is now inside a neighbor's house being comforted by them. Another family, including a 2-year-old boy, was rescued. They're being treated for smoke inhalation at Jacoby Hospital, as are 3 others. Another neighbor described saving several other residents.
When we knocked on the door, the hallway was full of flame. And we were telling the people to come out, so we finally got into the building, and we told them to come out. And we had to get out because it was just fire everywhere. You know, the heat was so bad.
They came and knocked on my door, said there's a fire and everything. And when I was coming towards the front, I saw a big number of flames and everything, so I went out through the kitchen door.
Now, police are still on the scene here, and the fire marshal's office is investigating, which is routine when there is a death in a fire. Right now, they don't know the cause of this fire. We're live in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. McGee Hickey, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Lisa and Mario.
McGee, thank you. Well, 2 bank robberies just miles apart in Queens are under investigation this morning. Now, the first heist happened around 11 yesterday morning at a Queens County bank in Fresh Meadows. Less than 3 miles away, less than an hour later, a Greenpoint bank was held up in Kew Gardens. In both robberies, a suspect passed a note to a teller demanding cash. Both suspects are described as white males in their 30s, but so far, police say there's no connection, apparently, between the 2 crimes. Police in Rybrook are searching for the suspects in that town's first murder in 15 years. Police say Richard and Danielle Graciano were shot in their home Friday. Danielle later died. Her husband is in critical but stable condition. Police say the 2 suspects are involved, in this case. Robbery may be the motive. They've released a sketch of one of the suspects, and here it is now. Seen speeding from the scene in a green Subaru with Quebec license plates. If you have any information, call Rybrook Police. The number, 914-937-0090. Lisa.
Overseas, Iraqis are taking a big step towards self-rule today. The Governing Council of Iraq is holding its first meeting. The council will appoint interim ministers and work with U.S. occupation officials on policy and also budgets. Iraqi political leaders and the U.S.-led provisional government are in the final stages of setting up the council. And President Bush is back home this morning after traveling to Africa. The president returned to Washington last night after a very busy tour. He spent the earlier part of Saturday in a meeting with African leaders in Nigeria. At a summit to promote U.S.-African ties, the president stressed the need for better education, health care, and economic opportunities in Africa. And he also repeated his pledges for more U.S. assistance, including his 5-year, $15 billion plan for fighting AIDS and a smaller plan to fight terrorism.
A Washington state trooper says it is absolutely amazing no one was hurt after a spectacular tanker truck explosion near Seattle. Now you can see why. Look at this. The fiery blast on Interstate 5 created a cloud of thick smoke that was visible for miles yesterday afternoon. The driver walked away without injury. Investigators think the explosion was set off by sparks from the tanker truck hitting a guardrail. Tragedy at a vintage air show in England yesterday. This World War II era Navy Firefly was in the process of making a dive when something went terribly wrong. The plane was not able to straighten up, and it crashed, as you see, into a cloud of smoke and dust. The pilot, the navigator were both killed. Fortunately, the plane was at a distance from the crowd, and no one on the ground was hurt. An investigation now into the cause. That is continuing.
Ocean County beaches have reopened. 4 miles of beaches had been closed on Friday after some syringes and a vial of urine washed ashore. The affected areas were in Lavallette and Dover townships. It was the very first time New Jersey beaches had been closed due to medical waste in 15 years. Meantime, several Long Island Sound beaches, that is, in the village of Mamaroneck are closed this weekend because of sewage contamination. The Westchester County Health Department says it comes from a leak under Route 1. Until the problem is fixed, beaches from Shore Acres to Orion's Point will stay closed.
Well, police continue to look into a case of food rage in the Bronx where a man threw a fit and a chair after claiming he found a mouse in his lunch. It happened Friday afternoon at a Wendy's on East Tremont Avenue in Westchester Square. 36-year-old Charles Black says he bit into a mouse in a cup of chili just like this one. Police say he became enraged, hurling a chair at a Wendy's manager. Now he's charged with menacing. Wendy's says he's looking into his complaint, but adds it's not uncommon for people to make false claims about foreign objects in their food.
Up next, Sunday Edition with Marcia Kramer.
Today's guest, Nassau County Executive Thomas Suozzi. Remember, CBS 2 News Sunday Morning returns at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
There are traffic accidents everywhere I look. That's going to mean the usual delays and lots of calls to 1-877-LAW-SMART. That's the number to call for a free consultation with the law firm of Siegel and Lax, concentrating in accident cases, fighting like heavyweights to get you the money you deserve. Ouch, another fender bender on the Gowanus. The guy's on his cell phone. He's dialing 1-877-LAW-SMART. Those guys get results. Just ask any of their many clients who've received settlements up to and over $1 million. Now to Karen with the weather.
Frank, here's today's forecast. 100% chance of Siegel and Lax.
What the world needs now. What you need now is Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort and Spa, the Bahamas' only 5-star diamond hotel, where a world of incomparable luxury awaits, and it's all included. Warm up to sun-drenched beaches onshore, Escape offshore for exotic adventures on our private island. Discover the world's most pleasurable way to get away. Sandals Royal Bahamian. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
Introducing V8 Splash Smoothies. A refreshing fruity blend full of vitamins, calcium, and a splash of soy protein. It's the energizing nutrition you need to do what you love to do. V8 Splash Smoothies. A new way to drink smarter.
If the answer is always yes, then what is the question? And the question is this a good time to buy municipal bonds? The answer is always yes, because there's no bad time to buy municipal bonds if you're in a nasty tax bracket. Yes, tax-free munis are always priced to pay more than your take-home from a taxable alternative. Yes, the right time to buy munis is always. Maybe the best thing about the free municipal bond kit from Lebenthal is that it helps people decide yes or no.
This is CBS 2 News Sunday Edition with Marcia Kramer.
Good morning and welcome to Sunday Edition. I'm Marcia Kramer. Nassau County Executive Tom Suozzi is in a pickle, the same pickle faced by Mayor Bloomberg, Governor Pataki, and Westchester's Andrew Spano. How to close his budget gap. Bloomberg, Pataki, and Spano raised taxes, but will Suozzi follow suit? And can he raise taxes again after he hiked property taxes when he first took office? Joining me today is Nassau County Executive Thomas Suozzi. Welcome to Sunday Edition. And you have another budget that's due in September 15th. You pointed out to me before the show started that Nassau County had economic problems well before it hit New York City, New York State, and at that time, you did have to raise property taxes in order to balance your budget. So what's a hard-working county executive like you going to do this time around?
I've got a lot of things that I have to do to solve the problems in Nassau County, but I won't raise the property taxes again for the remainder of my term. I pledged that to the people of Nassau County when I prepared my first budget. I took office on January 1st of 2002, and Nassau County at the time was rated the worst-run county in the United States of America, which is pretty hard to imagine considering we're one of the wealthiest counties in the country. It's a fantastic place to live with high-rising property values and low crime and low unemployment. It's a great place, but the government just absolutely stinks. And I was elected to come in and fix that. And I was told I had to fix it or the state was going to take Nassau County over. There's a panel that's been put in place in Nassau County called the Nassau Interim Finance Authority, appointed by the governor, the state senate, and the state assembly, that told us when I first came into office, if you don't fix the problem, the state of New York is taking over Nassau County.
And you did start to fix the problem, and you're actually going to end this fiscal year with, should I say the S word, surplus?
We will. For 2002, we balanced the budget, and we're going to balance the budget for 2003 as well. We have done a whole bunch of different things already. We've already reduced the workforce by 11%. Our workforce today is the smallest it's been since Lyndon Johnson was in the White House. We've eliminated about $100 million in waste, fraud, and abuse in our different departments. We've got very tough negotiations going on with our unions. We're borrowing less money, and we raised property taxes, as I said, my first year in office.
But see, here's the rub. Even though you've done all of these things, and one of the things you didn't mention was you've improved your credit rating on Nassau County bonds.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
You still face, something of a fiscal nightmare because you have an out-year budget gap for 2004 of $150 million. And the year after that, it's double, $300 million by the latest estimates. So the question is, how are you going to be able to plug that gap? I mean, are you considering, I know that you want to have the state establish a water and sewer authority, which would save the county $25 million, but you haven't been getting a lot of cooperation from the Republican state senators from your area, have you?
No, as a matter of fact, we had a very hard time in Albany this year getting a law passed that wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything. There was a very creative piece of legislation, and we think it was blocked solely for political reasons. And that's the only hole we now have for our budget for 2004. We've plugged the rest of the hole. As I said, when I first came into office...
So you only have to plug, you only have $25 million more
to plug? We've got $25 million to go, which is not easy considering a 1% property tax increase only raises $6 million. So $25 million is a lot of money in our budget. And we still face a problem in 2005 and 2006.
Well, what about the negotiations with the municipal labor force for some kind of givebacks?
We did well with the CSEA union, the civil service employees, where they're going to take a zero from when the last contract expired, December of last year, until when we settled the contract a few days ago. And then they're going to take the cost of living only for the remainder of the contract, which is good. And they're going to work 8 more days a year in addition to that. So we're happy with that. And the CSEA workers are hardworking people that don't have high salaries and do a good job for the county.
What about the police?
The police unions is another matter. Our police do a fantastic job. I have total respect for our police. We have one of the lowest crime rates for any community over 1 million people anywhere in the United States of America. Very few allegations of corruption or abuse. But the average police officer in Nassau County makes $103,000 a year.
Which is going to be the highest in the country.
Yeah. Well, other places in Nassau and Suffolk, in village departments and the Suffolk Police Department, make the same type of salaries. $95,000 for a patrol officer, $110,000 for a detective, $133,000 for a sergeant or above. When they retire, they get a lump sum payment for unused sick and vacation time, average $220,000. 13 paid holidays, even if you never work a holiday. If you work a holiday and you weren't scheduled to work the holiday, if you're on the force for 10 years, you get $1,500 pay for that day, on a day like Flag Day as one of the holidays. You get nighttime differential that starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't make sense. So we're not trying to take things away from our police union. We can't under the existing state law anyway, the Taylor law. But we're trying to say, listen, we cannot continue to give these raises anymore. Everybody else is doing their fair share. We've reduced the workforce. We've eliminated waste, fraud, and abuse as much as we still have more to go there, quite frankly. There's so many problems in the county. The taxpayers have paid an increase in their taxes. We're borrowing less money. You've got to do your fair share as well. When you're making 30...
They don't like that.
They don't like that, no. And they're making 30% more than the police officers in New York City do. And it's just not fair. So we are in arbitration right now, and we are pursuing a very strong argument that when the arbitrators look at our wages and they compare them to surrounding municipalities, they have to compare it to New York City wages as well. Because it's not fair that our police officers are making as much as they are and trying to get raises on top of that. If we could get a zero from when the contract expired until when we settle it, and cost of living increases, and get some of these crazy work rules changed, like nighttime differential at 11 o'clock and all these holidays, we can make a deal. But it's not easy.
So how critical is that to your balancing the budget?
It's an essential piece of the budget. What I've told people very clearly is I've had Plan A and Plan B and Plan C. Plan A are these 5 things that I said I was going to do: workforce reduction, waste, fraud, and abuse, union concessions, borrow less money, and the property tax increase. And in Plan A were 3 elements of it, little pieces within there, were the police contract, the CSEA contract, and the Sewer and Stormwater Authority. I got the CSEA contract done. Police contract I haven't gotten done yet, and the Sewer and Stormwater Authority I haven't gotten done. If I don't get the police contract, I have to lay off police officers. If I don't get the Sewer and Stormwater Authority, and they're saying they may try and give it to us in September now, but we're going to have to put an alternative plan in place, we have to cut more programs. But I'm not raising the property taxes again.
Well, there is another option. There is the possibility of the sales tax, which is something that Bloomberg, Pataki, and Andy Spano all have used this year to try to deal with their respective budget problems. Is that something that you would consider?
The state Senate has not been forthcoming in saying that they'll give us a sales tax increase. We'd consider it. It's required to get that you get it from the state. You know, I have to point out what Nassau County is for people who don't really know. Okay, I'm the first Democratic county executive in Nassau County.
In a Republican bastion.
In a Republican bastion. There are more Republicans in Nassau County than any other place in New York State.
Right.
And I'm the first Democratic county executive of the Democratic County Legislature since 1917.
But the Republicans don't like you very much.
Well, the people I hope do. I won my election by 100,000 votes with a lot of Republican supporters. I like Republicans. It's just the machine politicians in Nassau County, where everything's been about taking care of the members of the club instead of solving the problems. Those are the people that are fighting what I'm doing. Everybody's endorsed our plans to fix the problems in the county, except for the guys who caused the problem in the first place.
And those are the state senators in Albany who refuse to go along with the things you'd like to do.
They're part of that team, as well as the local legislators as well.
Okay,
and we're hoping they'll come around.
We're going to take a break. Stay right there. I'll be right back with my guest next on Sunday Edition.
They cheated, then they married.
I threatened to call his wife, and I did. I didn't mean to hurt her.
You're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught. How to affair-proof your marriage.
Next, Dr. Phil. Monday at 3, only on CBS-2.
I could be an SUV kind of guy. I need the versatility and power to haul my buddies and our gear wherever, whenever. course, the other 362 days a year, I haul kids and assorted lawn care products. But I've always said, find me an SUV at the right price that lives in both worlds. I'm your man.
Right now, get 1.9% financing or a $249 a month lease on Highlander, or get $1,000 cash back on the Room for 8 Sequoia.
Today, Toyota made me an SUV guy.
Sue would like to have you for dinner. Good thing you'll be 67 million years late. Get up close and personal with Sue, the largest and most complete T-Rex ever discovered. See her at Liberty Science Center. She's 42 feet long and weighs over 7 tons. But don't let that scare you. She loves kids. A T-Rex named Sue through September 7th at Liberty Science Center, where wonders never cease. Visit lsc.org for more information.
Monday at 6.
I'm Hazel Sanchez in Battery Park City, where residents say they were far from prepared for the terrorist act that would hit so close to home.
Now these neighbors take matters into their own hands and create their own emergency response team. Monday on CBS 2 News at 6.
It's Summer Drive at your GMC dealer, and we're exceeding your expectations with $3,000 cash back on every 2003 GMC Envoy and Envoy XL. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Get this Envoy with Smart Buy financing for about $309 a month, or get cash back. Call for residency restrictions and other details. For the best selection of 2003s, see the pros at your local GMC dealers.
Welcome back to Sunday Edition. You know, I have a question for you. I think a lot of people are taking a look at you this morning and saying, here's a guy, he's worked really hard, he's got a lot on the ball. Why would you have left all the things that you've done in the past, from mayor of Glen Cove to various prestigious law firms, to decide to run for county executive in a Republican bastion where you knew if you won, you'd be like a sitting duck?
You know, people ask me why I'm involved in politics. I was making more money 10 years ago at the law firm I was working at than I'm making today, and you get second-guessed all the time, and there's people trying to get you in politics, and I try and answer them very honestly every time. There's something wrong with me. So I just love politics. I love the idea of solving problems. I think that's the best way to define who I am, is solving problems, and you couldn't have more problems in any position than I have as county executive in Nassau County.
But you're also trying to consolidate, you know, county property. You're trying to really cut things to the bone. You're trying to develop a transportation hub. Has this been easy? Have you found a lot of waste and
there's tremendous waste in Nassau County government. Waste, fraud, and abuse is the catchwords of why people elected me. They want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Nassau County is a $2.2 billion government. It's larger than 16 states. And it was historically run like a mom-and-pop candy store, as opposed to being a $2.2 billion enterprise. You know, people don't realize government is typically a large operation. I have 49 departments, 49 businesses that I'm in charge of. I have a security business in police, a landscaping business for taking care of the parks. I have a sewer business. I have a youth board business. I've got 49 separate operations, all different functions, and we're supposed to be good at all of them. And you can't run that with just like, hey, Joe, what do you think? I don't know, Frank, what do you think? You have to have procedures and processes and systems in place to run it like the huge enterprise that it is. That's why my background, I was a CPA, and I was an attorney for a large law firm. That background has helped me, and I was mayor of Glen Cove, a small city out on Long Island, where I had the same type of problems, that it was not being run properly, and we helped to turn the city around. That's the same type of thing that I'm facing as county executive, and I've brought in a whole bunch of smart people that are smarter than me in many respects, and that's why I hire them, because they're better at it. And I don't care about their party affiliation. I've got Republicans and Democrats and conservatives and liberals, and we don't care. We just want good people who've got the ability to try and run the place right, and it's working.
So there are also people who say that you might be thinking about running for governor or statewide office. Is that a possibility?
Well, there's people that say I should run for re-election as county executive. Other people say I should run for governor. And there's one woman who says I should run for president of the United States of America. And I always tell her the same thing. Cut it out, Mom. So the reality is I'd love to run for higher office someday, but I love my job that I have right now. And if I want to run for higher office someday, I've got to be successful as county executive in Nassau.
So what is the biggest problem facing you right now?
I'd say the biggest thing right now is the lack of cooperation I'm getting from my political opponents. And I wouldn't have said that a month ago, because we were just moving along, implementing our plan. Everybody was endorsing it, from the Nassau Interim Finance Authority to the Wall Street credit rating agencies. You mentioned earlier we got our bond rating upgraded, to the business associations, to the chambers of commerces, to the budget activist groups. Everybody was supporting what we were doing because everybody knows Nassau County's in trouble. And then wham, we're hit with this state Senate action of not passing our sewer and stormwater authority when everybody else has agreed it's a good idea. So that's the biggest problem we face right now. And because of it, we're thrown into a situation where we have to find more places to cut. We were in trouble when the economy was booming in Nassau County. My predecessor is the one who had this state authority put in place to oversee Nassau County's government, because when the economy was booming, Nassau County was in trouble. Now, we're facing the same problems that New York City's facing, and New York State, and the federal government, and everybody else in the different counties throughout New York State on top of that. So we have a double whammy. We can't afford to have the partisan playing that we have right now. In addition, there's a structural problem that exists in Nassau County that's existing in most counties throughout New York State. We have three sources of revenues: property taxes, sales taxes, and state and federal aid. State and federal aid has been going down since the 1980s. Sales taxes only go up by the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, every year, 2%, 3%, 4%. This year it's actually going down because the economy is so bad. And property taxes. But property taxes only go up one of two ways. One is if you're building new buildings and new houses and new strip malls and new this and new that, you grow, that causes the property tax base to go up. The second way is to raise the property taxes. Well, Nassau County's not growing anymore. Many places in New York State are not growing anymore. So our revenues are stuck right here unless we raise the property taxes. And people don't want us to raise the property taxes. As I said before, I'm not raising the property taxes for the remainder of my term. But our expenses are going up much more rapidly. Medicaid costs go up by 15% every year. That's $40 million next year alone.
But part of the problem, and I know I saw you in Albany months back now to discuss it, is the fact that New York, unlike other states, New York makes the localities pay 25% of the cost, whereas in other states, the states and the federal government pay it all together.
Absolutely right. We are one of only two states in the whole United States of America that requires local property taxpayers to pay 25% of Medicaid costs. And we have no control over the program because it's a federal and state program. And that cost, like I said, is going up every year, 15%. Now, for us, that's $40 million just next year. A 1% property tax increase only generates $6 million. $40 million is a lot of money, and that's year after year. So I'm cutting the workforce. We're trying to go after waste, fraud, and abuse. We're working with the unions. We're borrowing less money, but our expenses are still going up because that's going up. Health insurance is going up. Pension costs are going up by 500% next year. It's a structural problem throughout the state of New York.
But do you understand why, even though the governor, other politicians have been talking about this for a long time, that the legislature never does anything?
It's a question of political courage and having the ability to do it. First of all, it's a very complex issue. And there's two things you need to make change in these type of things. Number one is you need the answer. How do you change it? And then you need the guts to go and make that dramatic change. I mean, there's so many special interest groups that are affected by the Medicaid issue that are all talking to their different friends in Albany that you don't see the change happening. I mean, we just went through this big debate in Albany this past year where the governor said, let's cut all this stuff, and the legislature said, let's raise all the taxes. Well, the governor was right that you have to reform the government, and the legislature was right that you did have to raise some taxes during these tough times for education. But there's no reform that took place. We haven't changed the way we do things. We're going to be in the same problem next year and the year after that. And we need some dramatic reform in New York State. Medicaid is one of the best examples where we need reform. So I'm trying to get together with a lot of smart people across party lines to start doing some think tank type of work to figure out how do we change the problem. And then once we get the idea as to how to change it, we get the guts to change it.
We only have about 30 seconds left, but my question is, is there some way that you think you could change it without having to reduce people's benefits so dramatically?
Yes, I do. I think that New York State, our costs are 2.5 times the national average. It costs more for our Medicaid costs in New York State than California and Texas combined, and we have half the number of people.
Okay.
So it can be done without hurting people.
Okay, that's all the time we have. I want to thank my guests for joining us this morning, and thank you at home for being with us as well. And a reminder, you can reach Sunday Edition every day of the week, 24 hours a day through our website at cbsnewyork.com. I'm Marcia Kramer, and we may be finished here, but don't turn that channel. CBS 2 News is coming right back in a moment with all of this morning's top stories, plus your workweek forecast. Have a terrific Sunday.
Are you tired of embarrassing facial hair and dread painful hair removal from sensitive areas? Hi, I'm Debbie James, here for Finishing Touch, the new pen-shaped hair remover that erases unwanted hair instantly and painlessly. It's designed for precision hair removal from even the most sensitive areas, absolutely pain-free. Watch. Finishing Touch can remove hair from all sensitive areas, yet it's powerful enough to remove even the thickest hair anywhere. The secret is the microtechnology that literally erases the hair cleanly and discreetly. And watch. It's safe to the touch, guaranteed. Shaving bikini lines leave razor burns and bumps, but Finishing Touch removes hair without a trace of irritation and is safe on even the most sensitive skin. Plucking eyebrows is painful, but Finishing Touch has a special attachment that painlessly grooms eyebrows or unibrows. Waxing can hurt. Now magically, erase hair along the lip or chin, remove hair from all sensitive areas, toes, ankles, or knees. It's perfect for the entire family. It removes stray hair anywhere. Sleek and discreet for purse or makeup bag. Call now and get the Finishing Touch Precision Hair Remover System, a $30 value for only $14.99. As a free gift, you'll get the Quick Dry Hair Wrap to keep hair out of the way. A $10 value, yours free. But wait, call now and you'll also get our Finishing Touch Lighted 5-Time Magnification Mirror for facial hair removal, contact lenses, or makeup. A $20 value, absolutely free. You get it all. The Finishing Touch Hair Remover, eyebrow attachment, carrying case, quick dry hair wrap, and lighted mirror, an incredible $60 value for only $14.99. But you have to call now. Here's how to order.
To order Finishing Touch for $14.99 plus $5.99 shipping and handling, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-526-6660. That's 1-800-526-6660. So call 1-800-526-6660.
The search continues this morning for the suspects accused of a deadly double shooting in Rybrook.
A teenage boy is dead in a house fire. I'm McGee Hickey. I'll have that story coming up.
And no swimming today at one popular Westchester beach. Janine?
And we'll have to tune in to find out which beach that is. But the other beaches are open for business today because the weather, they're going to be making up for all the losses in June, let's just say. The weather's good today, and I'll be back with all the details.
This is CBS 2 News, Sunday morning.
And good morning, everyone. Once again, it's 1 minute after the hour of 8 on this Sunday morning. Thanks for being with us today. I'm Mario Bosquez.
And I'm Lisa Daniels. We have a great show ahead for you this Sunday, including the hottest hangouts across Manhattan. Find out which bars and restaurants you'll want to check out.
Lisa's a real jet setter. She'll tell you all about it. Plus, this morning, a real treat for you. Star Search winner Vicki Natali is here for a live performance. Here she is on their stage. She'll be on our stage, getting you moving this Sunday morning. What a voice she has, Lisa.
She does.
Okay, first we begin singing the praises of our meteorologist, Janine D'Adamo, who's got a great Sunday forecast for you. Right, Janine?
Right. Saturday's forecast was great. Today is exactly the same. I mean, almost exactly to the numbers. This morning, 70 degrees. It was about 70 at this time yesterday. The high today should be about 84. It was about that yesterday. You see where we're going. It's going to be a beautiful Sunday. Right now, we have some high, thin clouds. You can see that we had a couple of rumbles of thunder, especially down to the south during the overnight hours. And now this line of clouds has developed from northern New England all the way back down towards the Delmarva Peninsula. That's a trough of low pressure. Now, I'm expecting it to bring some clouds through the morning hours, but this afternoon, it's perfect at the beaches. It's sunny and pleasant. We're talking mostly sunny later on in the afternoon after these morning clouds move out. You'll get that sea breeze at the beach, so it'll be about 78 wherever you go. And even tomorrow will be a nice beach day, too, if you happen to have a 3-day weekend. The forecast for the rest of today, starting out with those morning clouds and winding up with a lot of afternoon sunshine. The highs today climbing back into the lower to middle 80s, depending on where you live. It'll be cooler along the shores and warmer in the inland areas of New Jersey and upstate New York. And, of course, the city temperatures today in the low to mid-80s, where they should be this time of the year. This is average weather, which we'll take.
Average, but delicious. We'll take it. All right, thanks.
We do begin with our top stories, though. In the Bronx, a very tragic story there, where a fast-moving fire kills a teenage boy. McGee Hickey has a story live from the scene in Hunts Point this morning. Hello, McGee.
Hello, Mario. The fire was put out in less than an hour. 60 firefighters battled this blaze, and when it was over, an 18-year-old boy was dead. Several neighbors on this block, is a very closely knit neighborhood, tried to help. They rescued several other neighbors. The fire broke out at about 3:17 this morning in the stairwell of 846 Monida Avenue. Inside the second-floor apartment, a mother and her 18-year-old son were screaming to get out. By the time firefighters were able to get to them, The 18-year-old had died. The mother's now inside a neighbor's house being comforted by them. Another family, including a 2-year-old boy, was rescued. They're being treated for smoke inhalation at Jacobi Hospital, as are 3 firefighters. A neighbor helped rescue that baby boy.
He was okay, just black, full of smoke, and that was about it. Very nervous. He was shaking like crazy. But other than that, he was okay. Yeah.
Okay, when the firefighters got here, did they know there was a baby there?
No. We were screaming to let them know to go to the side of the house because that was the only way they can get out was through the patio on the top floor. So they had to hurry up and bring a ladder to get the baby. But that's it. The baby, the mother, and the father came out okay. They're just at the hospital now.
And the Red Cross will be providing temporary shelter for all the families who lost everything in this fire. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. We're live in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. McGee Hickey, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Lisa and Mario.
All right, thanks, McGee. A 1-month-old infant is hospitalized in critical condition after being knocked out of its stroller in a hit-and-run accident in Chelsea. Police say an SUV struck the stroller at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon at 8th Avenue and 18th Street. The vehicle fled the scene, but police later caught off with the driver, who was 19-year-old Italo Dixon of Boundbrook, New Jersey. He's been charged with vehicular assault and leaving the scene of an accident. Police in Rybrook continued their search for the suspects in that town's first murder in 15 years. Police say Richard and Danielle Graciano were shot in their home on Friday. Danielle later died, and her husband is in critical but stable condition. Police say 2 suspects are involved, and that robbery may have been the motive. They've released this sketch, the one on your screen, of one of the suspects seen speeding from the scene in a green Subaru with Quebec license plates. If you have any information, please call Rybrook Police at 914-937-0090.
City officials are hoping some new guidelines will help resolve the so-called Battle of the Badges. The mayor's spokesman says the guidelines would set out specific roles for city agencies in incidents ranging from bioterrorism to bombings. It's hoped the formal protocols will resolve turf war issues between the city's bravest and the finest. A report commissioned after 9/11 found that a lack of communication between the 2 departments hindered their response. Iraqis are taking a big step towards self-rule today. The Governing Council of Iraq is holding its first meeting. The council will appoint interim ministers and work with U.S. occupation officials on policy and budgets. Iraqi political leaders and the U.S.-led provisional government are in the final stages of setting up the council.
Back here, Democrats continue to turn up the heat on President Bush for an erroneous claim he made about Iraq in his State of the Union speech. They say President Bush must take responsibility for claiming Saddam Hussein tried to buy uranium from Africa. Well, it turned out to be faulty intelligence, and CIA Director George Tenet has taken the blame. President Bush says he supports Tenet and considers the matter closed. But former White House aide David Gergen says that is not enough.
Somebody in the administration, not in the agency, not at the CIA, wanted to put this in the speech and got the CIA to sign off on it, even though everybody knew that within the U.S. government there were real doubts about the validity of the report. And that's what constitutes the misleading quality of it.
British intelligence officials, the source of the Bush administration claims, still maintain that Iraq was trying to buy uranium from the African nation of Niger. A historical event for the U.S. Navy. Yesterday, it commissioned its first aircraft carrier named for a living president.
Man the ship and bring her alive.
And with that simple command, former First Lady Nancy Reagan sent off thousands of sailors aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. The Navy's newest carrier is almost 1,100 feet long, stands 20 stories above the waterline, and can carry more than 80 aircraft. Former President Reagan did not attend the ceremony at Norfolk Naval Station in Virginia. At 92, he suffers from Alzheimer's disease and rarely travels. The Reagan is expected to serve the Navy for more than 50 years. With 2 nuclear reactors, the carrier can operate for 20 years without refueling.
great weather today. Thinking about swimming, here are important water notes for you. Beaches in Ocean County, New Jersey have reopened. 4 miles of beaches had been closed Friday after some syringes and a vial of urine had washed ashore. The affected areas were in Lavalette and Dover townships. It was the first time New Jersey beaches have been closed due to medical waste in 15 years. On the other hand, several Long Island Sound beaches in the village of Mamaroneck are looking like this weekend. They're closed because of sewage contamination. The Westchester County Health Department says it comes from a leak under Route 1. Until that problem is fixed, beaches from Shore Acres to Orient's Point will remain closed. All right, still ahead on this Sunday, a perfect place to take your family for a day trip. Dana Tyler has that coming up when we go inside the Met.
Plus, Tony Tantillo shows us how to pick some fresh peppers from the grocery store. Hi, Janine.
Good morning to both of you. We've got a pretty fantastic weather day on tap. I'll tell you why. And we'll also take a look at the 5 days ahead. That's coming up in your weather forecast, so don't go away.
Today at the shore, you'll gasp without getting water up your nose. It's the Summer X Games demonstration at beautiful Monmouth Park Racetrack presented by Mountain Dew. Check out the shore's greatest stretch.
The beloved racehorse Seabiscuit never ran in a Triple Crown race. In fact, he lost his first 17 races, and he didn't earn a meaningful victory until the 50th race of his career. This horse racing fact is brought to you by beautiful Monmouth Park Racetrack, the shore's greatest strength.
WCBS 880 on your AM dial, the only all-news station on your radio with CBS News at the top of every hour, plus traffic and weather together on the 8s. Be the first to know. WCBS 880.
What do you call a room that looks as beautiful today as the day it was painted? Benjamin Moore calls it Hathaway Gold. I call it the gold standard. I know what I like. Only the best will do. I found the quality I need and this terrific color at my Benjamin Moore retailer. Benjamin Moore paint helped me create a look that lasts in a home I love. What do you call that? I call it confidence.
Benjamin Moore. We make it simple. You make it beautiful.
Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Camden Yards. Fans love the ballparks that have become shrines to baseball. Your Tri-State Jeep dealers and CBS2 are celebrating America's pastime by giving one lucky fan and 3 guests the chance to visit any ballpark in America. The winner will spend 3 days and 2 nights in their selected city and receive 4 tickets to take in America's game. Log on to CBSNewYork.com to register to win. Celebrate America's pastime with your Tri-State Jeep dealers and CBS2.
People already out there enjoying this beautiful weather. Little game of baseball there. 70 degrees right now at 8 o'clock in the morning. I think we can deal with that. A few weekends ago, it was like 85, 90 degrees.
Janine D'Adamo. We just got over 2 heat waves, one in late June, one in early July over the 4th of July holiday weekend. And now we don't see a 90-degree temperature in sight. I was looking at some of the longer range models that go out even farther than the 5-day forecast I'm going to show you, and still looks like mid to upper 80s. So we're just blessed right now. We've gotten off pretty easy here for the middle of July, and we've only had 2 heat waves so far. That's a good thing. Live pictures this morning showing a mostly blue skies, but there are some high clouds coming in and across Long Island and Connecticut and moving out right now. That's some good news. So a lot of sunshine today. 70 right now in the city, a variable wind, and the humidity at a bearable 73%. The humidity is going to stay low through the day today, and especially where your temperatures drop nicely overnight. It feels so comfortable outside. Cold Spring, go on outside, enjoy it. 60. Hamburg reporting 60 degrees right now with mostly sunny skies. And we still are seeing some high thin clouds across the island and into Connecticut. That's a result of a trough of low pressure that moved through. Started actually last night. You could see the showers that touched off across mainly Jersey, south of Ocean County, and then is pushing through the area now. That line of clouds extending from Connecticut all the way back down into the Carolinas, and I think those thin clouds will be disappearing as the day progresses today. So heading out to the beach, it looks good. Now, one thing I need to tell you about, just like yesterday, there is a small craft advisory in effect for the ocean water. Some of the offshore buoys are still showing waves up to 5 feet. a little bit choppy, so just keep that in mind today. A southwest wind at 10, and on the beaches of Long Island, also into Connecticut and New York, it looks like generally 70s for high temperatures, and a lot of sunshine, which means sunblock, SPF, 30, 40, a good idea today. Today, a fantastic afternoon with sunshine. Tomorrow, the clouds will increase tomorrow, but the rain, I think, will stay to the south for your Monday and first day back to work. Temperatures, as I mentioned, in the 80s today, just like yesterday. Actually, everything about the weather today is just like yesterday. Starting out with some clouds, winding up with a lot of sunshine, low humidity, and not a raindrop in sight this afternoon.
How can you say so many times? It's always worth it. Janine, thank you very much.
Well, peppers are ripe for the picking this time of year.
Let's see if I can say this correctly. So Tony Tantillo picks a peck of prime peppers.
Very good.
Well, good morning, everybody, and today's tip of the day is going to be with bell peppers. And right now in the summertime, you can tell because you know why? Look at all the colors of peppers the bell peppers are at the market. The red, the green, the yellow, the darker reds, the orange. It just keeps going on and on. And right now the prices are great too, but you got to select them and store them right. Let's talk about selection. And one of my favorites to grow besides the red are the yellow bell peppers, especially the little rouge variety. That's the elongated variety, just like this. On the grill, they are fantastic, especially sauteed too. You just can't beat it. Let's talk about selection. You select any bell pepper, no matter what color or what variety. You want to make sure it is nice and yellow, red, or green. That is so important. You got to make sure, almost like Mother Nature, added a light bulb inside there. It has to be bright. You want to check the crown. You want to make sure it's free from any decaying whatsoever, and the stem has to be nice and green. Now, the heavier they are, the better. That means they have thick walls to them, which is very good. Now, these are all great when it comes to grilling. Oh, one more thing. Did you know the red bell peppers have 330% of the vitamin C you need for the day? That's 3 times the vitamin C of oranges. That's not bad. And these yellow are loaded with antioxidants besides vitamin C. The way I like to grill them is simple. What I do is I wash them, of course, then I put some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and I just throw them right on there, right on the grill. Just like that. I just dropped one. Right on the grill. And you know what happens? They start turning that beautiful charcoal color all the way around. So you can peel off the skin if you want, but you know what? I like the skin on there with that charcoal color. It looks beautiful. Then what I like to do, what I do is grill about 4 or 5 different colors. I put them on a plate, add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper to taste. What a great dish for the summertime. Bell peppers. Try each color. You'll thank me. They're wonderful. So there you go. Grill all the bell peppers, all the different colors. It's a feast for the eyes, let alone your palate. And I'm Tony Tantillo, and from all of us at CBS 2 this morning, have a great weekend. Ciao.
I love his style.
Ciao.
All right, thank you, Tony. Are you looking to get away with your family? Coming up, Dana Tyler takes us inside the Met to show us the breathtaking views of one place that's not too far away for a day trip.
And you don't want to miss a live performance by Star Search winner Vicky Natali.
All right.
So I go into this Toyota store, and I ask the salesman, why is this Camry the #1 selling car so often? He doesn't bat an eye. Says it's on the Consumer Digest Best Buy list more times than any other car. Cost under $3 a day to keep it going. Then he says to me, now, I got a question for you. I go, yeah? He goes, how can I make it work for you?
Here's big news. 0% APR, $1,000 cash back, or a $209 a month lease on Camry. 3 great ways to save.
Wash it, gas it, give me the keys. I'm glad I asked.
I'm Sean Gables. Wake up to CBS 2 News this morning. We'll have skin and hair care tips specifically for people of color, and we'll take you to the only place in the country that specializes in ethnic treatment, plus your weather and traffic and your breaking news Monday morning starting at 5.
You know, Bob, you got your competition pretty heated up over all this stuff.
Hey, I've been saying for a long time that furniture shopping will never be the same.
I know, but they're in total panic. You don't understand.
Does that make me a bad person?
No, actually, it makes you a smart guy who really cares about the customer. And $7.99, is this the price for this?
$7.99 for this rock and recline and love seat.
Can we take it for a spin?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Hey, how about I rock, you recline?
Oh, even better. I've had a long day. Hey, great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we can both recline.
Oh.
It's Summer Drive at your GMC dealer, and we're exceeding your expectations with $3,000 cash back on every 2003 GMC Envoy and Envoy XL. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Get this Envoy with Smart Buy financing for about $309 a month, or get cash back. Call for residency restrictions and other details. For the best selection of 2003s, see the pros at your local GMC dealers.
Yankees versus Cleveland, the rematch in the Bronx. See who gets shut out this time, Friday at 7 here on CBS-2. CBS-2, broadcast home of the Yankees.
Welcome back. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind museum trip for your family, we have just the place for you.
How about taking them to the Cloisters, the branch of the Metropolitan Museum of Art that sits up high in Upper Manhattan with a great view of the Hudson River.
Beautiful place. This morning, Dana Tyler tells us about this gem of medieval art and architecture.
Strolling through the tranquil, sun-drenched gardens of the Cloisters, it's easy to forget you're still in Manhattan. The Cloisters opened in 1938. It's the only museum in the country devoted exclusively to medieval art.
Part of the beauty of the museum is that visitors experience the works of art and the architecture as they would have in the medieval times. So a visitor will walk through a medieval portal in the 12th century doorway as they would have in that time. So that makes the museum a different experience than you would in a traditional art museum.
The Cloisters is designed to evoke the feeling of medieval monasteries from the 12th through the 15th centuries. So what exactly is a cloister?
A cloister is the form around which almost all monasteries are organized, where you have an open garden surrounded by 4 walkways, usually with a fountain or a water source in the middle, and paths crossing at the center of the cloister.
The 4 gardens at the Cloisters still serve the same purpose as the cloisters that were built for the monks in the Romanesque and Gothic periods: meditation, conversation, and simple enjoyment.
Sit in the cloister area and really relax and read poetry or draw or sketch or be with a loved one.
And you don't have to be a green thumb to enjoy the hundreds of species of plants in the Cloisters gardens, from beautiful flowers to the very same herbs that were used in the Middle Ages for food and medicine. And look at the architecture of the grand columns and archways. Look closely. You'll see some weather-worn stone, actual relics from 5 different medieval monasteries brought to the U.S. by collector and sculptor George Gray Barnard. Since other parts don't survive as well, they were replaced by modern elements.
The core is fundamentally major works of medieval art and architecture, but housed in a whole that was created in the 20th century.
The Cloisters sits on the northern hilltop of Fort Tryon Park. John D. Rockefeller Jr., who legend has it used to love to ride horses through here when he was young, bought 67 acres of land with the intention that it all be used as a park and a museum as a gift to the city.
What I like about the Cloisters is the way it fits into the parks here. It's not just plunked down, it's absolutely integrated into it.
Part of the fact that this was done for John D. Rockefeller Jr. meant that really everything was done top flight, no expense was spared. When the Cloisters gets visitors from all around the world, and we've been working on restoring this park for the past 20 years, people come through here and they're amazed. They're astounded that a garden of this stature and quality exists.
It's just a 5-minute walk through Fort Tryon Park to the Cloisters, but with the park/heather garden, 600-foot promenade, and 8 miles of pathways, you'll likely linger here a while longer.
They can spend the day in the park, go to the museum, come visit the garden, sit down on one of the beautiful lawns that overlooks the river and relax, have a meal at the cafe. They can enjoy a complete day in this park.
Both the park and the museum offer unrivaled views across the Hudson River. Another gift from Rockefeller, who wanted to preserve the pristine setting. He donated 13 miles of unspoiled riverfront property to the state of New Jersey. And Rockefeller also donated the Cloisters' signature collection, the Unicorn Tapestries. This world-renowned series depicting the hunt of the magical unicorn was woven in Brussels about 500 years ago.
The bishops' walking sticks. Only bishops can wear coats, okay?
You'll find the museum is a great place for children. There's a new brochure for kids called Medieval Menagerie.
We show children how to go through the museum looking for various animals and spotting them. There's a little bit about them, some questions, and even a little piece on the back where they can draw their favorite animal.
All year round, the Metropolitan Museum's Cloisters branch offers a variety of family-friendly programs, as well as garden tours, gallery talks, and concerts, and of course, lunch. Don't hesitate to take it all in at your own pace. Dana Tyler, CBS 2 News, Sunday morning.
And over the next couple of weeks, Dana will show us much more of the Cloisters. So if you're planning a visit, here's what you need. Grab a pen very quickly. The Cloisters is open Tuesday through Sunday, 9:30 a.m. to 5:15 p.m., and it's closed on Mondays.
And here's how you can get there. You can take the M4 bus to the last stop at Fort Tryon Park, or simply take the A train to 190th Street, and then it's just a short walk through the park. By car, take the Henry Hudson Parkway northbound to the Fort Tryon Park Cloisters exit. Have a great time at the Cloisters.
And actually right here next Sunday morning, Dana takes us back to the main branch of the Met for a rare look at Central Park. It's a big anniversary for the famous park. You'll see original plans and old photos of the park, and you can learn all about it right here next Sunday morning.
Don't miss it.
That's right.
All right, question, will Lance Armstrong be able to win the Tour de France? That story's coming up.
Plus, the final farewell for conjoined twins who died while undergoing groundbreaking surgery to separate them. This is CBS 2 News Sunday morning.
If you will, meet Julian and Demetrius. When we started making ice cream sandwiches and sundae cones, they went nuts. Now they buy 100 of each a week. Known as the Cone and Sandwich Twins, they say it's their passion. Look for Turkey Hill cones and sandwiches in your grocer's freezer, and hope Julian and Demetrius didn't get there first. Turkey Hill ice cream sandwiches and sundae cones. Splendid, tasty, fun.
The luxury utility vehicles from Lexus. They not only answer the call of the wild, they also answer the call of the civilized. See your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no.
Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men Fresh In Color Gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Gets rid of strikeouts, too. Just for Men Gel. The Rejuvenator.
Hi. I lowered my cholesterol. Yeah, these are nice. I lowered my cholesterol.
In case you haven't already heard the news, Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower your cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet, and with its sweet honey taste. That ought to make you really happy.
Excuse me. My cholesterol's down. Excuse me.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
The race for cycling's most coveted title is on in France. Texan Lance Armstrong continues his bid for a 5th Tour de France title. Armstrong finished 15th in the first mountain stage of the race yesterday. He is second now in the overall standings.
In health news this morning, another victory in the battle against the sometimes deadly SARS virus. The Centers for Disease Control has lifted its travel alert for Beijing, leaving only Taiwan as a remaining area on its list. More than 800 people worldwide have died from the respiratory illness. Meantime, in Texas, 11 people who work at an Air Force base in Abilene remain in quarantine as a precaution against SARS. Some airmen had passed through Toronto, which recently has been removed from the SARS watch list.
The conjoined Iranian twins who died during separation surgery last week are now in their final resting place in separate graves. Some 20,000 mourners were on hand as Laleh and Ladan Bijani were buried in their hometown. Earlier in the day, a funeral procession was held at the Shiraz airport after the bodies of the 29-year-old twins arrived from Singapore. Their coffins were carried through the streets draped in black sheets. The twins died Tuesday from severe blood loss following a marathon operation to separate them.
When we come back, the latest on a deadly fire in Hunts Point. We are live at the scene.
Plus, no swimming today at one popular Westchester beach. We'll tell you why when CBS 2 News Sunday Morning returns.
So we've been arguing.
Debating.
About SUVs, when to buy.
If we should buy an SUV at all. Maybe the Toyota RAV4, because it actually is easy on gas. I like that.
Or the 4Runner. It costs less to drive than what we spend on lunch every day, and the financing's great.
With our best deals, 0% APR on RAV4 and $1,500 cash back on 4Runner, now's the time to save on any Toyota SUV.
We bought them both. We bought them both.
When diet and exercise fail, adding Lipitor can help lower your total cholesterol 29 to 45%. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease or possible liver problems, and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. 1 in 5 people has high cholesterol. Millions need treatment. For less cholesterol, ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
Is it the mighty Colorado? Or the Norwegian fjords? Is it the English countryside? Maybe it's Big Sky Country. Guess again. It must be Maine. For your free vacation guide, call or go to visitmaine.com.
Still no arrests as police search for the suspects accused in a double shooting in Rybrook.
One boy dies, neighbors save several others in a house fire. I'm McGee Hickey. I'll have that story coming up.
Then on to Westchester, where one popular beach is closed. We'll tell you why. Good morning, Janine.
Well, the beach will be a popular place today, so we'll need to stay tuned to find out which beach that is that we can't go to. But otherwise, the weather is looking good, and I'm going to have your complete 5-day forecast this half hour. Stay with us.
This is CBS 2 News, Sunday morning.
Good morning. It's Sunday, 8:30 a.m. on this Sunday. How many times can we say it? A sunny Sunday, July 13th. I'm Lisa Daniels.
No matter how you slice it, lots of sun
today.
I'm Mario Bosquez. Just ahead this half hour, the great sounds of Vicki Natali. She's a Star Search winner, a teacher from Brooklyn who made her students proud. We'll hear her sing this morning right in our studios live. Don't miss it. But right now, your Sunday forecast with Janine D'Adamo. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to both of you. Starting out with temperatures really comfortable, especially upstate New York into northwest Jersey. We have 60-degree temperatures from Hamburg towards Cold Spring and Middletown and Orange County. It looks good out there. Sunshine in New York City at 70 degrees and still some clouds, mostly high, thin clouds across Connecticut and Long Island. The reason for that, you can see the showers that developed late yesterday across Jersey. And now we have just these high, thin clouds that have moved across New York City into the island. This is just a trough of low pressure. It's not going to bring us storms today. As a matter of fact, really the only thing it's going to do is bring clouds early in the day, late day, a lot of sunshine. Picture perfect today, just like yesterday. If you enjoyed yesterday's, look at the bottom line there, low humidity. Today you'll like the forecast too, because temperatures will stay in the lower 80s. We'll have low humidity today compared to certainly what we could see this time of the year. I mean, remember July 4th weekend, we were baking in the 90s, and now we're comfortable in the 80s. So a good forecast for today. Things change a little bit tomorrow, and I'll be back with that forecast coming up.
But thank you for turning the temperatures down. We definitely appreciate it, Janine. Thank you.
She can't take credit for that. All right. Well, turning now to our top story. A fast-moving early morning fire kills a teenage boy in the Bronx. Other lives were saved, though, when some heroic neighbors sprang into action. McGee Hickey has the story live from the scene in Hunts Point. McGee, good morning.
Good morning, Lisa. The fire marshals are still investigating the cause of the fire. No official cause given out yet. But as you say, a very fast-moving fire. 60 firefighters battled the fire. It was put out in less than an hour, and when it was all over, an 18-year-old boy has lost his life. And several other neighbors are being credited with saving other people in the burning building. The fire broke out at about 3:17 this morning in the stairwell of 846 Monida Avenue. Inside the second-floor apartment, a mother and her 18-year-old son were calling for help. By the time firefighters were able to get to them, the 18-year-old had died. Another family, including a 2-year-old boy, was rescued. They're being treated for smoke inhalation at Jacoby Hospital, as are 3 firefighters. 2 neighbors helped in the rescue.
When we knocked on the door, the hallway was full of flame. And we were telling the people come out, so we finally got into the building and we told them to come out. and we had to get out because it was just fire everywhere. You know, the heat was so bad.
I helped the firemen take out a small child from the house and took him over to my house until the ambulance came and brought him to the hospital.
And how was the baby?
He was okay, just black, full of smoke, and that was about it. Very nervous. He was shaking like crazy. But other than that, he was okay.
As I say, that little baby is okay. The Red Cross is providing temporary shelter for the families who lost everything in this fatal fire. We're live in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. McGee Hickey, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Lisa and Mario.
McGee, thank you very much for the latest on that story. In other news, 2 bank robberies just miles apart in Queens are under investigation this morning. The first heist happened around 11 yesterday morning at a Queens County bank in Fresh Meadows. Less than 3 miles away, and less than an hour later, a Greenpoint bank was held up in Kew Gardens Hills. In both robberies, a suspect passed a note to a teller demanding cash. Both suspects are described as white males in their 30s, but so far, police say there is no apparent connection between those 2 crimes. Well, police in Rybrook continue their search for suspects in that town's first murder in 15 years. Police say Richard and Danielle Graciano were shot in their home Friday. Danielle later died. Her husband is in critical but stable condition. Police say 2 suspects are involved and robbery may be the motive. They've released a sketch of one of the suspects seen speeding from the scene. Here it is now, in a green Subaru with Quebec license plates. If you have any information, call Rybrook Police at this number, 914-937-0090.
Iraqis are taking a big step towards self-rule today. The Governing Council of Iraq is holding its first meeting. The council will appoint interim ministers and work with U.S. occupation officials on policy and budgets. Iraqi political leaders and the U.S.-led provisional government are in the final stages of setting up the council. And President Bush is back home this morning after traveling to Africa. The president returned to Washington last night after a very busy tour. He spent the earlier part of Saturday in a meeting with African leaders in Nigeria. At a summit to promote U.S.-African ties, the president stressed the need for better education, health care, and economic opportunities in Africa. And he repeated his pledges for more U.S. assistance, including his 5-year, $15 billion plan for fighting AIDS and a smaller plan to fight terrorism.
A Washington state trooper says it is absolutely amazing no one was hurt after a spectacular tanker truck explosion near Seattle. Now, this is why. The fiery blast on Interstate 5 created this thick cloud of smoke that was visible from miles away. That happened yesterday afternoon. The driver, believe it or not, walked away without any injury. Investigators think the explosion was set off by sparks from the tanker truck hitting a guardrail. Also, tragedy at a vintage air show in England. Look at this. Yesterday, this World War II-era Navy Firefly was in the process of making this dive when something went wrong. The plane was not able to straighten up. It crashed into a cloud of smoke and dust. The pilot and the navigator both killed. Fortunately, the plane was a distance from the crowd and no one on the ground was hurt. An investigation into the cause continues.
And beaches in Ocean County have reopened. 4 miles of beaches had been closed on Friday after some syringes and a vial of urine washed ashore. The affected areas were in La Valette and Dover Township. It was the very first time New Jersey beaches had been closed due to medical waste in 15 years. And several Long Island Sound beaches in the village of Mamaroneck are closed this weekend because of sewage contamination. The Westchester County Health Department says it comes from a leak under Route 1. Until the problem is fixed, beaches from Shore Acres to Orion's Point will stay closed.
An unusual story now. Police continue to look into a case of so-called food rage in the Bronx where a man threw a fit and a chair after claiming he found a mouse in his lunch. It happened Friday afternoon at the Wendy's on East Tremont Avenue in Westchester Square. 36-year-old Charles Black says he bit into a mouse in a cup of chili like the one you just saw. Police say he became enraged and hurled a chair at the Wendy's manager. Now he's charged with menacing. Wendy's says it's looking into his complaint, but adds it is not uncommon for people to make false claims about foreign objects in their food.
Well, turning on the nightlife. When we come back, find out which hot spots around Manhattan are making the hot list.
Sounds good to me, Lisa. Plus a real treat for everybody this morning. Here she is, a teacher from Brooklyn, reaching her dreams to sing. You'll meet and hear the sounds of Vicky Natali. That's still ahead as we continue on this Sunday morning. Hello.
A revolutionary new treatment for neck pain? Monday at 11, a tiny device that holds a big promise to possibly end your suffering for good. How does it work, and could it help you get back into the swing? Overpowering pain. Monday on CBS 2 News at 11.
Scrumptious strawberry shortcake. Now in a Newton. New strawberry shortcake Newtons. So indulgent, it's everything you could ever want in a dessert. In a Newton. New strawberry shortcake Newtons. Looks like a Newton. Tastes like dessert.
Mr. Goodwrench, who is this one and only GM expert? I gotta find this guy. You're Mr. Goodwrench?
Yep.
Which means you use genuine GM parts.
Well, actually, we all do.
Now you're just trying to throw me. Mr. Goodwrench had over 1 million hours of GM training last year?
That's right.
Doesn't leave much time for Mrs. Goodwrench now, does it?
Find Mr. Goodwrench at over 7,000 GM dealerships nationwide.
If Mr. Goodwrench were a tool, what kind of tool would he be?
A wrench?
Oh, sorry. Miter saw is what we were looking for. Miter saw.
Life is calling, let's start living it. Take tonight by the reins and harness it out to the meadowland. Come on, let's go, where winners play and adrenaline flows. It's all about being here. It's what your soul understands. It's all about being here, the Meadowland.
Get that fine dining, no whining, first across the finish line buzz. Only at the Meadowlands Racetrack. It's all about being here.
In harness racing, horses are required to either trot or pace. Remarkably, they still burn up the track at 30 miles per hour. This harness racing fact is brought to you by Meadowlands Racetrack, home of the world's greatest harness racing. It's all about being here.
If you think you've heard it all about the Kennedys, think again. New bombshells from the man behind the controversial book.
What is the biggest secret that Caroline is keeping?
Then Olympia Dukakis' open marriage and Sarah Jessica Parker next ET.
Monday at 7:30 on CBS 2.
A beautiful look at our area this morning on this Sunday. 70 degrees out there, 8:40 right now. And this is really one of the best weekends that I can remember, Janine.
Yes, it is, Lisa. Let's once again go back to that shot of the Triborough Bridge, and it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. Temperature right now, 70 degrees, and we're going to be forecasting a nice day. The clouds are disappearing across the city, and they're moving into the island in Connecticut now, these high, thin clouds, but really they won't cause any trouble. We're expecting a pretty nice morning, just like the temperatures yesterday morning. 60s, especially low 60s, northwest Jersey into Cold Spring. Nyack right now, your temperature 66 degrees. Tarrytown, Ossining, similar temperatures this morning. And on the island, from the mid-60s in Shirley to around Merrick and Mineola and into Nassau County, your temperatures close to 70. Now, everybody with a lot of sunshine, but some of you have a little bit of filtered sun. That's because a trough of low pressure developed yesterday. As we told you, it would push through. It would miss us in terms of the heaviest rain. But now we have this line of clouds that goes from northern New England all the way back down the eastern seaboard. So a few clouds out there across Long Island and Connecticut. Otherwise, a great day. If you're heading to the beaches today, or you're going to be doing a little boating on the Sound or on the ocean waters, do want to just tell you that we are expecting a very sunny afternoon, but still the offshore buoys are reporting pretty high seas up to 5 feet. So a small craft advisory is in effect today for those ocean waters. Today, mostly sunny. The great news is high pressure will bring in low humidity today. The lower humidity lasts today, but then tomorrow changes a little bit as we see an increase in cloud cover and an increase in moisture, and that should set us up for rain on Tuesday. So the forecast highs today anywhere from about 79 in Stamford, Connecticut to about 83 in New York City. It should be a really beautiful day, and the 5 days ahead looking good. Now, a few days we'll get some rain, Tuesday and Wednesday specifically, I think. Otherwise, temperatures stay in the 80s, and as we peek ahead, there's no 90s in sight right now. So there's some good news. Mario, we will keep our sweating down to a minimum.
All right, Janine, thank you very much. You know, this weekend may be wrapping up. We're going to plan next weekend for you here in Manhattan and beyond, because for a night on the town, Manhattan is the place to be. With so many places to choose from, how do you decide? We have an answer, a suggestion. Here it is now. It's called Shecky's Guide, offering all the information you need. Joining me now with some of the hottest of the hot spots, Chris Hoffman, CEO of, I got this correct, it says it in the script, Hangover Media.
That's it. That's
but you don't know that from personal experience.
Oh, no, of course not.
Of course.
No.
All right, tell me about Shecky's Bar Club and Lounge Guide. How do you get the information for 1,300 night spots?
Okay, we have about 100 freelance writers that go out anonymously and review all the places. Usually we send 2 people to each place, you know, one during the week, one on the weekend, a guy and a girl, because the perspective is totally different.
It's got to be one of the best jobs in town.
Oh, we don't have a hard time finding writers. The hard thing is finding good writers.
I'm sure you get a lot of volunteers where that is concerned. I understand you're going to bring us some suggestions today that are so cutting edge. We're going to learn about them for the very first time right now.
Oh, yeah, these are brand new spots. A couple opened a week and a half ago.
And I want to warn people, I'm not mispronouncing the name Manhattan. It's correctly called Mannahatta.
It is Mannahatta. That's the first place we're going to go to.
Let's
that
go.
Opened about 10 days ago.
What's it all about?
Okay, it's a it used to be a place called Astor Lounge.
There it is now.
It's about 5,000 square feet. They serve tapas. It's a great spot, minimalist. Not looking like much from the outside. Almost looks like a diner. But it's very laid back, very open and airy. It's in the East Village, and it's beginning a good East Village crowd, but like that hipster crowd.
That vibe.
Oh, yeah, that vibe. Exactly, the vibe with like the DJs and the whole, like I'm too cool kind of thing.
I'm too cool to play music.
Yeah, but very laid back, and no door guy, nothing annoying like that. Which for a spot this hot and this good looking, you kind of expect.
All right, Mannahatta is one of the hot spots, and K Lounge. What makes it so special?
Okay, K Lounge is another one that opened a couple of weeks ago. K is very interesting because it has like a seductive Indian feel. The vibe is very cool and very dark. It almost has like that 70s rock and roll feel, though.
Really?
It's like that. It's hard to describe, but almost like that from the movie Blow when you see those scenes. It's very cool.
It's kind of a moody sort of a
very
place
moody,
to be.
but it's in Midtown, so they're getting a lot of business types after work, and like that real modelly crowd. They've done a lot of fashion shows.
The beautiful people like Lisa Daniels go there and enjoy it.
Okay, exactly. But it's right now after work a good business crowd.
All right. Lobby, it's kind of a generic term, but you're saying lobby right now is cutting edge.
Lobby is one of the hottest places in Manhattan.
Is it really?
It's in the Fashion District. The good thing about that spot is that it's kind of off the beaten path, so it is a destination.
Look, it's next to a deli and grocery, just a little address.
No, none of these places from the outside look like anything much, but Lobby has a very restrictive door policy, and there are models up the wazoo there. Actually, Lenny Kravitz and Nicole Kidman were spotted making out there a couple of weeks ago.
So you're a gossip columnist, too?
Oh, no.
Right.
That's rumor.
Rumor only, okay.
You're going to get something from a press agent right now.
Rehab, interesting name, and what makes this place so interesting?
Okay, what makes this place interesting is that it is actually the Time Cafe during the day. Which is not much, just a relaxed place. At night, they roll in some banquettes, bring down the lights, make it really red, and suddenly it is literally the hottest spot in the city to go to right now.
I understand they play music, have a good time there.
Oh, yeah, it's not much to think of, but, for some reason, everybody is going there. Hilary Swank, Molly Sims, Jim Carrey, Luke Wilson. I mean, it is literally the celeb place. It's like the Lotus of this year.
It's incredible to me, Chris, how you just drop all these famous names. It's amazing.
And I've met them all.
You've
in
met
no way,
them
shape,
all.
or form, no.
And now this next place is named actually after a famous person.
Okay, Ava Lounge, which is actually, I think, the most interesting place of all. It's on top of the Majestic Hotel. It's a penthouse. And the look of this is really like a 1950s Frank Sinatra movie a la Vegas.
Can I take a guess named after Ava Gardner?
Yeah, named after Ava Gardner. And they actually have a garden called the Ava Garden, which they just opened. But it's a very, very interesting looking place. Drinks are a little on the pricey side. They have a great drink called the Key Lime Martini, which is unlike anything I've ever had. But, it's a very fun crowd. And you have the juxtaposition of like that 50s vibe going on there and a very cool vibe with the very modern music.
And do they have varying door policies at all these places? Like, will I not be allowed in? Certain people not be allowed in?
You know what? The door policy in these places is basically fairly restrictive depending on the place. Like in Ava, you're going to be okay. But a Rehab is very restrictive. Lobby. Basically, you have to be with a couple of girls. Like 5 guys going in, just don't even bother. Right. I mean, really, just save it.
It's a good insider's tip from Shecky's Bar Club and Lounge Guide. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Chris Hoffman there.
Thank you very much.
You can pick up a Shecky's Guide at your local bookstore or through an online book vendor. Lisa, I'm sure they'll let you in, and we will be right back.
It's Summer Drive at your GMC dealer, and we're exceeding your expectations with $3,000 cash back on every 2003 GMC Envoy and Envoy XL. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Get this Envoy with Smart Buy financing for about $309 a month, or get cash back. Call for residency restrictions and other details. for the best selection of 2003s. See the pros at your local GMC dealers.
So these are ANA's new business class seats.
Yes, sir.
See, you're free to relax or work as you please.
This is great.
What's more, the seats recline all the way.
Oh, yeah.
They're incredibly...
Mr. Tanaka, Mr. Fuji, we're making our final approach.
Huh? We're here?
Already?
But what about my video?
But what about my noodles?
And what about my drink at the bar?
I can't believe it.
Your seats are too comfortable.
We do apologize.
Enjoy daily to Japan and Asia.
CBS Tonight. It's only one man. It isn't just one man. Damn it. It's Zorro. You know Zorro. He could be anywhere. Did you miss me? Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones in the blockbuster hit The Mask of Zorro, CBS Tonight.
So, what can we do to conserve electricity? Yeah.
Turn off the lights when I leave a room.
Okay.
Turn off the air conditioner before we leave the house, right?
Right, and set the thermostat to 78 degrees. Use timers and clean the air filters.
What about those funny-looking light bulbs?
You mean energy-efficient light bulbs? Great idea. And tell your parents to buy products with the Energy Star label and save even more money on their electric bills.
LIPA, the power of change.
And welcome back to CBS 2 News Sunday morning. And we have singer Vicky Natali living her dream on the CBS show Star Search.
Oh, what a great experience that was. The Brooklyn school teacher beat out 17 other competitors to win the top prize, $100,000 and a recording contract with Sony. Vicky Natali, we are so fortunate, joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming so early on a Sunday morning. It's great to meet you. Such a talented lady. Now, you're a school teacher, too, so you're multi-talented. Where do you teach?
I teach at Mark Twain Junior High School, which is a school for the gifted and talented in Coney Island, Brooklyn.
And how proud was everybody there of you when you won?
The kids were great. I mean, they wrote me letters, and they gave me cards, and, you know, they were calling, and we did our concert, and like everybody was just really wonderful.
And tell us the truth. We're journalists after the truth. Were you nervous at the last stage?
Not being on stage, but at the point where they were calling in the votes, that was the very nerve-wracking part.
Because you had tough competition.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to get to your performance in just a moment, but you have a CD coming out.
Yes, it's supposed to be coming out on Sony Records. So.
Excellent, excellent. What are some of the cuts you're going to do on that?
I'm going to try and do as much original material as possible. I want it to be something soulful, something from the heart, because that's what I'm about.
You do definitely. You feel it when you're singing. You do sing from the heart.
I love it. I love it so much.
Vicky, you're going to sing for us right now. What are you going to perform?
I'm going to be performing Chain of Fools, which is the first song I performed on Star Search.
Please tear up the stage.
I will.
Take it away. All right, bring the house down.
Thank you.
You got me where you want me. I ain't nothing but your fool. You treated me mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, you know you treated me cruel. I'm added to your change.
We love you so much. Sort of start your second song along the way. Can you get that rolling? What are you going to sing for us?
We're going to perform something called Was It Worth It?
All right, beautiful song. Vicky Natali, great musicians and backup singers, too. It's going to be fantastic. Now, to learn more about Star Search, you can log on to our website, of course. You can find out more. And, of course, right now, we're going to talk to Janine D'Adamo. We're going to final look on our forecast as well with Janine D'Adamo, right? We're going to be doing that as well.
Absolutely. Let's quickly hear
Let's start with the second song,
and then we'll talk.
Okay, can we start in first?
Sure.
Okay, take it away, Vicky. Special message right now as this music continues as well. We have a final check on the weather, but also a fond farewell for a colleague and friend of ours, Janine D'Adamo, who's headed to sunny Florida. We're going to miss you.
Heading to Naples, Florida. I've been here now 2 years. My husband was a resident at NYU Ortho program. He just graduated. We're going down to Naples. He's going to be working there. I'll be working in Fort Myers. I'll still be probably chasing hurricanes.
Well, we don't want you to go. We want you to stay, but we know that you're going to be very happy.
Yeah, thanks so much. It has been great. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And the last forecast is a good one. The forecast is nice today. The temperature's in the 80s, the humidity low. Actually, atypical for July weather here, which is nice. A nice beach day today, and followed by rain, it looks like, not until Tuesday.
Okay, well, we're so sad to see you go, but
in Spanish, we never say goodbye. We say hasta pronto, until very soon.
Until very soon.
All right,
a presto in Italiano.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. We also want to thank Vicky Natali for joining us.
Thank you so much
Star
for having
Search
me.
winner, so talented, and of course a tribute to your school and your students as well. Upward and onward to you. We leave you now with more Star Search winner Vicky Natali. Enjoy your day.